Okay. So Tracy, I saw you do a video on care of hydrangeas.
Yeah.
And I don't have a clue. This is a blue one. I don't know what kind it is, but you said it was time to trim it.
It is. It's time to trim the macrophylla hydrangeas, which is what this is. So the old-fashioned mop hood is the macrophyllas. Now, the first thing you need to figure out before you start pruning is what kind of hydrangea you have. Because there's basically two kinds of hydrangeas, right? There's, as far as it comes to pruning, there's two types of hydrangeas. There's one that blooms on old wood, and then there's ones that bloom on new wood. So the ones that bloom on old wood would be your macrophyllas, which are your mop heads.
So you would never trim it all the way back.
No, you'd never get any blooms if you do that. Serratas, which are lace caps, you know, the lace cap ones, and then oak leaves. So those three bloom on your new wood.
Okay.
So you want to prune those after they finish blooming and before you move into fall or winter. Because if you go to pruning them in the fall, winter, early spring, you just cut your blooms off.
Okay.
And then there's the hydrangeas that bloom on new wood, which would be like the paniculatas. So that's like your limelights and your little limes and your quick fires and all of those, which most of those are sun lovers. So we want to put those in the sun. Or the other ones would be your arborescens. So you familiar with Annabelle? Annabelle hydrangea, Incredible hydrangea, all of those. They make like a real pretty old-fashioned Annabelle blooms on them. So those two types are going to bloom on new wood. And we want to prune those in early spring, like a late winter, early spring. So on those, what you would do is look for, like on your stem, the reason you want to wait till it's early spring is you want to, you can be able to look at your stem and follow down and find where a new bud's coming at. Because at that point, new growth's going to be taking place on those. And then that way you'll know where to prune. Yeah. But on these, so what you have, this is all you have here, right? It's the old-fashioned mop heads. So what we want to do is we want to get this pruned as soon as we can, because being in zone 8, I'm central Alabama and you're Georgia. So being in our zone, we want to get this pruned no later than mid-August.
Oh,
so
okay.
we're
time.
we're on the borderline here, so we need to get this done. Now what you need to do is you don't even have to prune this if you don't want to prune this.
Oh, really?
Like, you don't have to. But if you do want to prune it and take it back just to keep a check on the size of it or whatever, you can do that. But what we definitely want to do is come in and take out anything that's dead.
Okay. So that right there?
Yeah, it's very obvious what's dead. I got your pruners. So we'll just take out what's dead. And what I like to do is get in here. It's a little tedious, but to do it right, I like to get in here and take it down to wherever we've got some good, healthy growth.
Okay.
So see, like right here would be a good place to make a cut. Right there. I don't know if y'all can see or not, but when we took out this old dead, we could have made it, no, that wouldn't have been good. But right there is going to leave us with this new growth coming out, see?
Okay.
So we just take that dead off. So that's your first step in pruning this, is to come in and try to remove all of the dead. Yep, all the dead. See, that, we can take this one down. It's probably kind of hard for y'all to see, but I can take it down. Oh, the whole thing's there. I'll take it all the way down to here. There's some good looking growth down here, so we'll take that whole thing out.
So that's interesting, because last year I just went and trimmed like just the dead. Is all I did.
Yeah.
Or
See, like this whole little section over here probably needs to come out. And it's gonna look like a hole, but if we can leave some of these down there, see,
like this whole thing needs to come out.
Yeah, that whole section needs to come out. But we need to try to go down to where, if you can see any, see, like, where is this coming from? Try not to cut this.
Okay, it's on a separate.
Is
Is that too far?
Oh no, I would take it all the way down because it's just going to end up with a...
Oh, it's dead.
Yeah, it's dead. You probably could just break it and then come off. But yeah, all that needs to come out.
No, it's not.
And then you see this one right here? See how that's... Oh, well, that's okay. That's good. But see that little growth there? That's where you always want to try to take it down if you can find that.
Okay.
Because that's where that's going to put out your new wood.
So like this one that's dead.
Yeah,
it just needs...
take it all out.
So Tracy, I got this hydrangea right here.
Yeah.
That's been in this pot for a couple of years now. It blooms pink. And you're saying when we plant it, it'll probably turn...
It'll probably bloom blue because this one over here blooms blue. And with the pine straw, that's going to be a good sign too that this soil is probably pretty acidic. So if you have acidic soil, your old-fashioned mop heads and your lace caps will change colors. So if you have acidic soil, your bloom is probably going to be more blue.
Okay.
If you have a alkaline soil, it's going to be more pink. And if you have a neutral soil, you're probably going to get a purple.
Oh, okay.
So if you've got, see, you've kind of got a little bit of a purple over there.
It does.
So it's probably more purple. So you've probably got more of a neutral soil here. I don't know, probably, but you've got all this pine straw, and that usually makes your soil a little more acidic. But anyway.
So to plant this, you dig your hole.
You dig your hole only as deep as it is in your pot. Now we've got some roots showing here, so we're going to need to cover those exposed roots. But you want to dig your hole only as deep as your plant is, but about twice as wide if you can.
Oh, okay.
This may not be exactly twice as wide, but...
So do we need to take any of that dirt off?
I think it'll be better. Well, it's actually not root bound.
Okay.
See, it's not root bound. When your roots are just wrapping, then it's root bound, and then you need to score your roots so that they'll start growing out instead of just keep wrapping around themselves. But you're fine. This is not root bound at all. It actually looks pretty good, see?
Okay.
So we can just take some, I like to take some compost, and we've got some of your yummy worm castings here. So we'll just put some of this in the bottom. Actually, you've got really good looking soil here. But it's always good to add compost. It just helps get those roots moving, and we got some worms in here too. Then we're just gonna sit this over in here. And see, that's about right. See, it's not too deep. It's not bad for your plant to be above the soil level a little bit. I mean, it's really a good thing. But we gotta get these roots, these exposed roots covered, so we'll pull this out. We'll actually move this stuff to the side. Now let's get it back in there and see what we can do there. That's much better. Then we'll just backfill it with this. But you also, like, you don't want to just plant a plant with all good compost. You want to mix in your native soil too. Because if you just do all good compost, and especially if you have like clay soil, it'll make a bowl and then you'll get root rot. So you want to do a good mix, half and half compost, half native soil.
And is this the time of year you'd want to plant these, or does it matter?
Really, the best time to transplant or to plant, I think, is fall. Especially on your shrubs. Fall is the best time to plant shrubs and trees because they're going dormant, right?
Right.
So all of your energy is going into root development and everything at that point, instead of trying to do foliage and vegetation and flower and all that. So you're developing that foundation that the plant needs. So it's good. Plus you don't have to water near as much.
So it's sort of like when you're planting fruit trees, you want to do it in the fall.
You want to do it in the fall. And you're not, you don't have to water near as much, you know? You can just water it pretty good and your first couple of weeks, and then if you're in the fall, you can walk away from it till the next spring. Whereas if you plant in summertime, you're gonna have to water this thing all the time, keep it alive. And then I like to just pack it in good, get out any air pockets. See, air pockets? So I do that the whole time I'm planting it. I try to eliminate air pockets. And you don't want to bring your soil too much over your trunk base because it'll cause trunk rot. And there you go.
Awesome. And so as far as fertilizing it, you would?
Yeah, as far as fertilizing the hydrangeas, the best time to fertilize really is right after you finish pruning these. And then you can come in, as long as you're not, I wouldn't fertilize anything after mid-September because we don't want to promote new growth at that point. We want it to start going dormant, right?
Okay.
So if you, like we're pruning your hydrangea over here right now, so we would go ahead and give it a little dose of fertilizer and then come back in the spring around the middle of March or so and we'll fertilize again. And that's it.
Okay.
That's pretty much it. And just a good shrub fertilizer is good if you want to change your color of your hydrangea. You want it to be more blue, you could add like an aluminum sulfate or something like that that's going to lower the acidity. If you want it to be more pink, you can add something that's going to be like a lime or something that's going to raise your pH.
Okay. Awesome.
But
Thank
also
you.
give it a good balanced fertilizer too, along with that.
Okay.
All right. Ugh. Yeah, we're good and dirty. That job's done, right?